On this vote, the yeas are 370, the nays are 22, two-thirds being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on the motion of the gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Stauber, to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 3187 as amended, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title.
Union Calendar number 248, H.R. 3187, a bill to require the Secretary of Agriculture to convey a parcel of property of the Forest Service to Perry County, Arkansas, and for the purposes.
The question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass the bill as amended? Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote. On this vote, the yeas are 388, the nays are 0. Two-thirds being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The House will be in order. Members are requested to take their conversations outside. The House will be in order. For what purpose does the gentleman from Rhode Island seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House out of order.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, today, alongside my partner in the Rhode Island House delegation, Seth Magaziner, we rise to honor two students, Ella Cook and Mohammed Aziz Morkazov, whose lives were tragically ended in the horrific mass shooting at Brown University this weekend. 9 other students were injured in the shooting. 8 remain in the hospital. Today, we hold in the light the victims, their families, and the Brown University and broader Rhode Island communities. I thank Mayor Brett Smiley of Providence, Governor Dan McKee, and local leaders for their leadership in their ongoing response to this senseless tragedy. We're grateful to the first responders for their prompt action on the scene and medical professionals for caring for the wounded. As law enforcement continues their work, we thank them for their efforts and wish them strength in their pursuit to bring to justice whoever committed this horrific act. For the extended Brown University, Providence, and Rhode Island communities and everyone impacted around the country, we continue to stand together to heal and work towards the safety we all deserve. And I ask all of my colleagues to join me in a moment of silence. I yield back.
The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The chair now will entertain requests for 1-minute speeches. Be in order. For what purpose does the gentleman from Utah seek recognition?
Consent to address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker and honored members, in 2027, beginning in April and ending in October, the Salt Lake Temple, which is to my left, will be open for public tours. All are welcome, with 3 to 5 million visitors expected during this historic event that will be important to Utahns and especially to those who will again worship and serve there. I invite all of my colleagues in the House and their families to visit Salt Lake City and tour the temple with me. Though it was not the first, it has become the most recognizable temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Many visitors associate the temple with Utah's capital city. The temple was built of native granite and took 40 years to complete with the goal to construct it so it would last throughout time. Come experience the spirit of this event with me. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Speaker, the Jewish Business Network, JBN, will be recognizing a group of outstanding business leaders at their breakfast in Tarrytown tomorrow, Tuesday, December 16th. The individuals saluted have made a positive impact on the business community in the region of Westchester County and surrounding counties. Those to be honored include the Gabelli Leadership Awards given to Paul Adler, Chief Strategy Officer with Rand Commercial, Adam Hammerman, Vice President and CEO of New York Medical College, Brad Schwartz, a partner at Zarin and Steinmetz law firm. The Friedland Young Leadership Awards will be given to Samuel Adler of Rand Commercial and Lee Lefkowitz, partner for Zarin and Steinmetz lawyers. We salute these talented and committed professionals. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Oklahoma seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to celebrate my incredible Marine Corps fellow, Captain Simona Elvin, for her tremendous work this past year in my office. Simona has been instrumental in helping prepare for legislation, meetings, and defense events. Her expertise has been crucial in crafting legislation that directly benefits our service members in Oklahoma's 5th Congressional District. Her hard work in my office in service to our nation is applaudable. Simona, we will miss you, not only for what you have brought to us legislatively, but also who you are as a person. From day one, it was obvious that you would fit well with Team Bice. Your attitude, spirit, and wit will be truly missed, especially at Monday morning coffee. This past weekend was the 126th Army-Navy game. And as a member of the Board of Visitors at West Point, this is not easy to say, but for Simona, I will. Congrats, Navy. You will be truly missed. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
The gentlelady yields. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Ohio seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I want to say thank you so very much to Ohio's corn and soy farmers for their excellent agricultural summit in which I participated about a week ago in Defiance, Ohio. We discussed the importance of biofuels as a reliable source of income for Northwest Ohio farmers, in fact, 44% of their income and rising. This is a great victory for our country over the last 3 decades. Let me thank our region's farmers, processors, growers for bringing together leaders from the biofuels industry, ag commodity groups, Ohio Farm Bureau, and refineries to hear directly about the increase in demand and production for biofuels, really as a new initiative every day to increase income for farmers as they lose export markets due to tariffs. Biofuels now comprise over 44% of their bottom line. In the early days, I worked with senators on both sides of the aisle and led the effort here in the House to make sure people had access to E85 ethanol at the fuel pumps. It's been a great gift of my career to have served long enough to see that we've been successful. We also flew the first fighter jet F-16 out of our base 20 years ago using biofuels, and it worked. We're very proud of this industry as it grows, and my hats are off to Ohio farmers and Midwest farmers who are making this reality in our lifetime. What America makes and grows America. I yield back.
The gentlelady yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from Wisconsin seek recognition?
And extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize and congratulate the outstanding USA men's deaf basketball team that recently earned the gold medal while competing at the 2025 Deaf Olympics in Tokyo. The team bested every other competing country, culminating in an electrifying 69-59 victory over Ukraine in the finals. I would like to give special recognition to one of my constituents, Patrick Danon of De Pere, who was a key member of this team and brought the gold medal home to Wisconsin's 8th District. Patrick, who attended my alma mater, St. Norbert College, had to learn how to adapt to basketball after becoming deaf as the result of contracting meningitis at 6 months old. Despite this, he never let that stop him from excelling as a standout player in high school, college, and now at the international level. Patrick Danon and the rest of his teammates showed incredible skill, determination, and fortitude, and their victory was well-deserved. I also want to recognize the USA women's deaf basketball team, who earned the silver medal in Tokyo, further demonstrating the strength of American athletes on the world stage. While these games may not have gotten the attention from the media that they rightfully deserve, it's my honor to stand here today on the House floor to recognize their achievement and ensure that they know just how proud they have made our country. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask my colleagues to join me in once again congratulating the USA men's basketball team for their outstanding gold medal victory at the Deaflympics, and I look forward to their future success. Mr. Speaker, and with that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Vermont seek recognition? Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Oh, you were right. Mr. Speaker, in light of the President's offensive and cruel post about the tragic murders of director Rob Reiner and his wife, producer and actress Michelle Reiner, I think it's important to speak out. Mr. Speaker, may this be the last time America elects a president devoid of sympathy and compassion. May this be the last time that we choose someone so heartless and cruel who denies the basic dignity of honoring someone's life when they've been murdered. May this be the last time we choose someone who divides us instead of unites us. May this be the last time we elevate and celebrate a man unwilling to offer condolence or consolation or comfort. May this be the last time we choose a leader wrapped up in spite and vindictiveness. May this be the last time that we lose ourselves in our collective cruelty. I yield back.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the president. For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor Fred Gretsch, who celebrates 60 years leading Gretsch drums and shaping one of the most respected names in percussion. Mr. Gretsch joined the family business in 1965 and devoted his career to preserving his heritage while pushing forward thoughtful innovation. His leadership helped define the distinct Gretsch sound that musicians across generations continue to recognize. Rather than chase trends, he prioritized tone and careful craftsmanship. That commitment helped the company remain a standard for artists who value instruments built with care and character. Gretsch Drums has reached stages large and small and remains a trusted choice for professionals and young musicians beginning their journey. This milestone reflects decades of determination and stewardship from Mr. Gretsch and those who have worked beside him. Today we recognize Fred Gretsch for his influence on American music and for protecting a legacy that continues to inspire. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I seek unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to honor the life and legacy of Clara Lee Phillips, a cherished member of the Albany community and a woman whose dedication and service strengthened the very heart of New York's 20th Congressional District. Born in Langsdale, Mississippi, Clara made Albany her home in 1964 and devoted 36 years of faithful service to Albany Medical Center. Even after retirement, she continued giving back, volunteering, cooking, and supporting the youth of the South End with unwavering dedication. Miss Clara, as she was affectionately known, was a founder of Mississippi Day in Albany, a celebration now in its 13th year. What began as her way of sharing a piece of home grew into a cherished community tradition, uniting neighbors through food, music, culture, and yes, storytelling. On behalf of the 20th Congressional District, I extend our deepest condolences to Miss Clara's family, her church community, and the countless friends and neighbors whose lives she touched. Her legacy of service, unity, and love will endure in Albany for years to come. We honor her today with gratitude and commit to carrying forward that great spirit that she brought to our district every single day. With that, we thank you, Ms. Clara, and I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Affordability, the buzzword these days. Let's drill down, so to speak, on energy costs. Now, my home state of California is the producer of a great amount of our awesome ag products, our fruits, vegetables, tree, nut crops. And when we have what we're about to see in California, 2 different refineries are slated to close. Phillips 66 in the south and a Valero one up north. Those 2 refineries are approximately 20% of the fuel supply for the state. Also, California's refinery capacity affects Nevada and Arizona, as they're right next door, and part of the shipment of our oil products goes there. So when we're on schedule to see these closed down because they can't afford to do business in my home state anymore, the rest of the country, under the awesome energy policy we've had for about the last 11 months, seeing prices come down. I've seen in Colorado two different times in the $1.85 range. California is still about $4.50, and it's going to continue to go up when there's less capacity. When a pipeline shuts down, we need energy affordability. I yield back.
The gentleman yields. For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina seek recognition? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, Congress has the opportunity to save Christmas. As millions across the country face the uncertainty and anxiety about their health coverage, without congressional action, the enhanced premium tax credits under the Affordable Care Act will soon expire, leading to higher costs and risking health care coverage for some altogether, forcing families off health plans and adding to the burden that rural health centers with unpaid care are already experiencing at the time that members of Congress prepare to go home for Christmas to their families with the certainty of their own coverage. It's just not right. There are bipartisan proposals to address this crisis, and I thank my colleagues who've been working around the clock to find a solution and who have not lost sight of why constituents have sent us here, to work for them, to work for solutions. One of the greatest gifts of Congress that we can give to families back home is accountability and coverage. I yield back.
The gentleman yields. Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 3rd, 2025, the gentlewoman from Virginia, Ms. McClellan, is recognized for 60 minutes as a designee of the minority speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include any extraneous material on the subject of this special order.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, we have 4 legislative days left in 2025, 17 days total. This is our last chance to prevent 22 million people from seeing their health insurance premiums double or even triple, and for some to see their health insurance premiums spike beyond their ability to pay when the enhanced premiums tax credits expire on December 31st. An estimated 5 million people will find that they can no longer afford those premiums and will lose their coverage altogether. For the past month, the Congressional Black Caucus has told stories on this floor of our constituents who will be impacted by this body's failure to act. Restaurant owners, beauticians, barbers, landscapers, florists, mediators, chiropractors, restaurant owners, funeral directors, farmers, small business owners, their employees, gig workers, the self-employed, and more. We've told stories of people worried about how they're going to pay that unexpected bill if they get sick or injured, if they lose their health insurance. We have 4 days to prevent that from happening. Last week, the Senate failed to act. The administration doesn't even seem to have a concept of a plan, so it's up to the House. Leader Jeffries has a discharge petition open right now to extend the credits. We need just 4 Republicans to sign on. Last week, Punchbowl News reported that Speaker Johnson is planning a long process to fix health care, saying he anticipates working on health care through the second quarter of next year. But open enrollment ends on January 15th, a month from today. And those new premiums will take effect on January 1st, 17 days. You know who can't wait for the Speaker's process? My constituent, Lester Johnson, co-owner with his wife of Mama J's Restaurant. They and their daughter rely on the Affordable Care Act, paying about $700 a month for their premiums in 2025. But without the enhanced premium tax credits, their bill is going to go up to more than $1,400 a month. And many of his roughly 40 employees are going to see their premiums spike as well. It's a lot of money for people, Lester said. And not knowing what the price is going to be because of a stalemate in Congress adds uncertainty. Everybody's feeling the anxiety. Lester's not sure what he's going to do. I've told stories of constituents in Virginia who found a plan they could afford, but with higher deductibles. And so they're worried. I guess they say they're just going to wrap themselves in bubble wrap and hold their breath. But bubble wrap doesn't help you when you're in a car accident. Bubble wrap doesn't help you when you get sick. Bubble wrap doesn't help you if you end up going into premature labor and having to pay an average of $70,000 a day for NICU stay. Rather than addressing the premium cliff, House Republicans have put forth a reckless plan that will put millions more Americans' health care coverage at risk. This new bill does nothing to lower costs for millions of Americans who are now facing skyrocketing health care premiums. The bill is full of recycled failed ideas from previous efforts to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. It fails to extend vital enhanced premium tax credits, forcing more than 22 million Americans to pay, on average, twice as much to buy the same health coverage they have today. As I said, an estimated 4 to 5 million could become entirely uninsured, and everybody else will pay higher health care costs. This proposal increases premiums for millions of Americans by funding cost-sharing reductions, causing hundreds of thousands of people to become uninsured, and expands so-called association health plans that put comprehensive and affordable health care for small businesses and workers at risk. This has been a centerpiece of Republican attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act for a decade. Doesn't work. The plan also creates a backdoor ban on abortion and reproductive health care. Republicans have shown they have no agenda to address health care affordability and access. As Americans stare down notices that their health care costs will increase by tens of thousands of dollars in just 2 weeks, Republicans are cramming through legislation that kicks them while they're down. Americans will suffer without the Affordable Care Act's enhanced premium tax credits, and yet Republicans still haven't put forward a clean plan that will provide relief. Instead, they're putting on political theater with an unserious vote on an amendment that will undermine the ACA that their leadership intends to see fail. This 11th hour half-baked plan isn't even feasible to implement. Earlier this year, Democrats urged Republicans to extend the tax credits, fearing for those Americans whose costs were about to skyrocket. But instead, Republicans spent their time cutting $1 trillion from the healthcare system. This fall, Americans began receiving their notices that their healthcare premiums would skyrocket, and Republicans stood idly by. Now we are just 2 weeks away from the expiration of these tax credits, and this half-baked plan isn't gonna cut it. Mr. Speaker, I'd now like to yield to the gentleman from Louisiana, Representative Troy Carter.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your leadership in these special order hours. And Mr. Speaker, thank you. As we talk about the human cost of expiring health care tax credits, these human costs are not just on Democrats. These human costs are on Americans across the board, Republicans and Democrats alike. Small business owners who are the backbone, as we often say, of our economy. Yet when given an opportunity to demonstrate to our small business owners that they really matter and that their employees really matter, we play politics. Today I want to share a story of Mike Friedman. I met Mike in October, about a week before open enrollment began. He was working on a federal contract at the USDA National Finance Center in New Orleans, but lost his job in April because of the federal workforce cuts enacted by Trump, Musk, and DOGE. His family signed up for insurance through the Affordable Care Act because his husband was laid off in the spring. Mike had cancer 5 years ago and continues to have outstanding health concerns. If MAGA Republicans don't join Democrats in extending the ACA tax credit, Mike doesn't know how he or his family will afford health care. He told me, "I'm not unusual in this case. So many others are in the exact same position." He said, "I'm in the cusp between being retired and not being eligible for Medicare yet. He just turned 61, and the ACA is the only option for our family. The cost of health care is out of control. Republicans have turned this situation into a crisis with the largest Medicaid cut in the history, outrageous threats to Medicare, and relentless targeting of the Affordable Care Act. This big, pretty, some may say, most would say, ugly law will hurt Americans of every party, of every background, of every zip code. For 43 days, the Congressional Black Caucus stood firm to protect America's health care and lower health care costs for people like Mike and so many others that will remain nameless and faceless because they don't always have a voice or a platform for which to plead their case. And that's why we're here. For those who may not have a voice, may not have a platform, may not have a lobby, may not have a group to fight for them, we are fighting for them every single day, regardless of their name, background, even party. Because when we're elected to Congress, we're not elected to only represent those that are in our party, but to represent the American people. This health care crisis is an affront to the American people. And I implore my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Step up, stand out, fight against injustice, inequality, wherever you find it. Demonstrate that our small business people, our people living with disabilities, our veterans, Our working people who go to work every single day, they make just a little bit too much money to access Medicaid, but not enough money to pay for their health care. Republicans' failure to extend the ACA tax credits will hurt Louisianians and Americans across this country. It allows premiums to skyrocket for tens of millions of Americans by an average of 114%, and takes away coverage from around 4 million people. That's unacceptable by every front. Any way you slice it, it's unacceptable. We are the richest country in the nation, in the world. This nation has more than anyone else in the entire world. No one should go to bed hungry. No one should be without a home. No one should fear being sick because they can't access health care. Not in America. This is not a partisan issue, my friends. There are a lot of things that we can be partisan about. This isn't one. We only have a few days left to get this right. Let's not let the American people be the sacrificial lamb over some undisputed political battle among parties. Let's not let a person in the White House who seems to care about everything but the American people dictate or drive our actions. We're bigger, we're better. I know you personally. Find the courage to do the right thing. Stand up for the nearly 4 million people who will find themselves without health care. The Congressional Black Caucus is here, and we're not giving up this fight. We will not give up the fight to address the health care crisis in our country. We will not give up the fight to fight for those business people who every day create tax dollars and sales taxes for our local governments, that hire people from the community, that provide the resources that keep our economy going. Let's demonstrate to them that they matter. Let's do the right thing. Let's extend the ACA tax credits and show America that we can get our business done and that everything we do is not subject to a red or a blue. Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Mr. Speaker, I wasn't here when the Affordable Care Act was passed. I was in the state legislature in Virginia. It was after I had become a mother. It was while I was part of the sandwich generation, trying to raise 2 children and deal with elderly parents nearing the end of their lives. It was while I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we were going to close the insurance gap so that no one would face a couple of scenarios that I was lucky enough to have health insurance to cover, but a lot of people don't. The first was when my son was about almost 3 years old, and in the blink of an eye, I grabbed my curling iron and burned his hand. We were in a rural community in Virginia whose hospital didn't have a burn unit. It was very small. They couldn't even figure out what degree the burn was. This was on a Saturday. And they said, you can either go home, and on Wednesday there's a burn clinic where they can look at his hand for free, or we can see if VCU Health Center can admit him today. I said, well, he's going to get admitted today.